3 days had passed since humanity's proclamation. The council chamber looked different now. The lights seemed dimmer. The air felt heavier. Representatives sat in small groups whispering urgently. Their advisors ran back and forth with tablets full of bad news. Economic Minister Pelthar stood at the central platform. The Vrel's tank was cloudy with stress hormones. The water churned as Pelthar moved nervously. I have prepared a full economic assessment. The news is not good. A hologram appeared showing graphs and charts. Every line pointed downward. In the 72 hours since the human withdrawal began, we have identified 847 critical dependencies. These are systems that will fail without human support or updates. The impact reaches across all council species. High Chancellor Vexthor leaned forward. His confidence from 3 days ago had vanished. Give us specifics. What sectors are most at risk? Medical infrastructure is the most immediate concern, Pelthar explained. The Krillian homeworld uses human-designed nanite treatments for 70% of serious medical cases. These treatments require regular updates to remain effective. Without human support, effectiveness will drop 30% within 3 months. Within a year, the treatments will stop working entirely. Vexthor's mandibles clicked together nervously. His own health depended on those treatments. He was not alone. Millions of Krillians relied on human medical technology every single day. Navigation systems are equally critical. Pelthar continued. Human-designed algorithms handle 70% of council shipping. Ships can still navigate without them, but travel times will increase by 40%. Accidents will increase. Trade will slow. Costs will rise dramatically. The hologram changed to show food production statistics. Agricultural output will drop 20% across multiple worlds. Human optimization systems have been integrated into farming equipment, water distribution, and crop management. Removing these systems means lower yields, less food, higher prices. Senator Lothran's crystalline form resonated with a low, troubled tone. Can we not simply replicate these systems? Study how they work and build our own versions? Chief Engineer Noxlan activated from the shadows. The Meklar was part organic, part machine. His cybernetic voice was flat and emotionless. We have attempted this. Initial analysis suggests replication will take between 10 and 30 years for most systems. Some human technologies use principles we do not fully understand. These may take even longer. 30 years? Consul Mirnash asked. We cannot wait 30 years. Systems are failing now. Correct, Noxlan replied. The Thexian data network has already degraded 14%. Without human maintenance protocols, degradation will accelerate. At current rates, the network will be 40% less efficient within 6 months. This will affect everything from communication to commerce to governance. Mirnish floated to the center of the chamber. The elderly Vrel looked tired. I warned you all. I said humans were different. I said threatening them was dangerous. No one listened. We did not know they were this integrated into our infrastructure, Vexthor protested. That was the point, Mirnash said sadly. They never advertised their importance. They simply became essential quietly over decades. Now they are gone, and we realized too late what we had. A communication alert sounded. Admiral Velkoth appeared via hologram. The military officer looked shaken. I must report on reconnaissance efforts. We have attempted to probe the human quarantine zone. We sent 17 scout vessels. Different designs. Different technologies. All equipped with the best stealth systems in the Council. And, Fleet Marshal Crix demanded, all 17 vessels are gone, destroyed, but not in any way we understand. There was no weapons fire detected. No energy signatures. No explosions. The ships simply stopped existing. One moment they were there, crossing into the quarantine zone. The next moment they were gone. No debris, no distress signals, nothing. Silence fell across the chamber. The implications were terrifying. Weapons that left no trace. Technology that made ships vanish completely. What else had humanity been hiding? They said they developed new weapons in secret. Senator Lothran recalled. We thought it was bluffing. Psychological warfare. It was not a bluff, Velkoth said. Long-range scans show massive construction within human space. Shipyards operating at unprecedented levels. New installations appearing rapidly. Whatever they are building, it is on a scale we have never seen them attempt before. A new transmission arrived. The Council's communication officer announced it with a trembling voice. A message from human space. It is brief. General Byung-ho appeared on the screen. His military uniform was immaculate. His face showed no emotion. "This is General Byung-ho of the United Earth Defense Force. I am informing the Galactic Council that the quarantine zone is now fully operational. Your attempted reconnaissance has been noted. Future intrusions will be met with the same response. Additionally, any Council military vessels approaching within 5 light-years of human borders will be considered hostile and dealt with accordingly. This is your only warning. Do not test us again." The transmission ended. No opportunity for response. No room for negotiation. Just a simple statement of fact. 5 light-years, Crix repeated. That is an enormous buffer zone. They cannot possibly monitor that much space. And yet they destroyed 17 stealth scouts, Noxlon pointed out. Perhaps we should consider that they can do exactly what they claim. Another transmission arrived. This one was intercepted from human civilian channels. The Council's intelligence service had been monitoring all human communications since the crisis began. Professor Sora appeared on screen. She was broadcasting to Earth's colonies. "Fellow citizens," Sora began, "the Council has learned a lesson today. Throughout our history, humanity has faced those who wished to control us. The Romans, the Mongols, the Nazis, colonial empires, dictators. All believed they could subjugate humanity. All failed. Not because we are the strongest, but because we refused to be conquered. The Council made a critical error. They assumed our cooperation meant weakness. They assumed our sharing meant desperation. They assumed wrong. We cooperated because it aligned with our values. We shared because we believed in mutual benefit. But when threatened, when given ultimatums, humanity does not submit. We adapt, we withdraw, we become self-sufficient, and we thrive. In the coming years, the Council will struggle. They will try to replace what they lost. They will fail. Meanwhile, we will grow stronger. Our technology will advance faster without the burden of supporting civilizations that viewed us as subordinates. Our economy will flourish serving our own needs. Our people will prosper in a galaxy where they are respected because they demand respect. This is not revenge. This is simply reality. They forced us to choose between submission and isolation. We chose isolation, and we will make that choice look brilliant." The transmission ended. The Council representative sat in stunned silence. The human professor was right. They had forced this choice. They had pushed humanity into a corner, and instead of fighting back with weapons, humanity had simply walked away, taken their technology, their knowledge, their innovation, and left. Mirnash spoke into the silence. "We must attempt diplomatic contact. Apologize for the ultimatum. Request new negotiations." "They said not to contact them," Pelthar reminded everyone. "We must try," Mirnash insisted. "Draft a message. Express regret. Offer to withdraw the ultimatum. Promise equal partnership." The message was drafted carefully. Every word chosen to convey respect and contrition. It was sent through every channel. Diplomatic frequencies, emergency bands, even civilian communication networks. The response came 3 hours later. Ambassador Rin appeared on screen. She was younger than Jiwan, but her eyes were just as hard. "The Galactic Council has attempted to contact humanity. I am responding once and only once to clarify our position. Earth acknowledges your message. We note your expressions of regret. However, the time for negotiation has passed. You had our cooperation. You had our friendship. You had our technology. You chose to threaten us instead of respecting us. Actions have consequences. Humanity is currently focused on internal development. We are not interested in external diplomatic engagement. We will consider resuming contact in approximately 47 years. Until that time, do not contact us again. Attempts to enter human space will be met with terminal force. Humanity wishes the Council well in its future endeavors. You are on your own now, goodbye." The transmission ended. No room for reply. No negotiation. Just cold final dismissal. Senator Lothran's crystalline body resonated with a low, mournful tone. "We have not just lost a trading partner. We have created an enemy who does not need to fight us to defeat us. They are simply going to wait for us to collapse under our own weight, while they grow stronger in isolation." "Can we survive without them?" someone asked. Pelthar looked at the economic projections again. The numbers were devastating. Some species will survive better than others, but all of us will be diminished. All of us will struggle, and all of us will spend the next 47 years regretting this moment when we had the chance to treat them as equals, and chose dominance instead. The ship called Sol's Promise hung in space like a silver needle. Inside, Ambassador G1 sat at the conference table. Around her, the other members of the delegation settled into their seats. The lights were dim. On the wall, a large screen flickered to life. Admiral Minho appeared on the screen. His uniform was covered in medals. His face was serious. Behind him, stars moved slowly. He was calling from the flagship of Earth's defense fleet, somewhere deep in human space. "Ambassador," the Admiral said, "I have received confirmation from Earth. The unified government has reviewed the Council's ultimatum. The decision is final. We reject all terms," G1 nodded. She had expected this. "And the response package?" "Ready to deliver. I am sending the data now." The Admiral touched something off screen. Immediately, files began appearing on the tablets in front of each delegation member. Commander Unji opened her tablet first. She was younger than the others, with sharp eyes that missed nothing. Her job was intelligence. She knew more about the Council than most Council members knew about themselves. "This is interesting," Unji said quietly. She scrolled through the information. "Very interesting." "Explain for everyone," G1 said. Unji stood and moved to the main screen. The Admiral's face shrank to one corner. Charts and graphs filled the rest of the display. "The Council thinks we are weak. They believe this because we only control 47 star systems. They control thousands. They see numbers and assume victory. But numbers do not tell the whole story," Captain Doyen added. He leaned forward, interested. "Exactly," Unji continued. "Look at this data. 70% of Council shipping relies on human-designed navigation systems. Our technology is better, faster, more reliable. They bought it from us because their own systems were outdated." She changed the display. New numbers appeared. Medical technology. 40% of Council hospitals use human pharmaceutical research. We solve diseases they struggled with for centuries. The Krillian species, including High Chancellor Vexthor, depend on human-developed treatments. Without them, their population faces serious health problems. Dr. Hiren smiled. "I worked on some of those treatments. We published the research freely. We thought we were being generous, helping our galactic neighbors. They saw it as weakness," G1 said. "They thought we were desperate for friends, that we needed their approval." "They were wrong," Admiral Minho said from the screen. "We were building dependencies. Not for them, for us. Every system they adopted, every technology they integrated, made them more reliant on human innovation." Unji pulled up more data. Agricultural systems. The Vrel food production uses human optimization algorithms. Energy distribution across 12 Council species runs on human-designed networks. Even their entertainment, their art displays, their communication systems. "Everywhere you look, human technology has become essential." Lieutenant Taeyang spoke for the first time. He was the communications officer. His job was to watch signals, to monitor what people said when they thought no one was listening. "Our merchant vessels have all left Council space. Every single one. They departed over the last 36 hours. Quietly, no announcements. They are gone." "Has the Council noticed?" Jiwan asked. "Their intelligence services have noticed, but they think it is a precaution. They think we are afraid of war. They believe we are running away." Taeyang showed a small smile. "They do not realize we are removing our assets before we act." Captain Doyen stood and walked to the window. Outside, stars burned in the darkness. "Let us discuss their military advantage. 50,000 capital ships against our 3,000. On paper, we cannot win a direct fight." "On paper," Admiral Minho agreed. "But war is not fought on paper. The Council has never fought together as one force. Each species has different weapons, different tactics, different command structures. They speak 18 different primary languages. Their communication systems are incompatible. They have old rivalries," Yunji added. "The Krillians and the Thexians fought a war 3,000 years ago. They still do not trust each other. The Vrel and the Meklar compete for resources. If we attacked one species, would the others really come to help, or would they see an opportunity? That is not our plan, though," G1 said firmly. "We are not starting a war. We are doing something different." Dr. Hiren opened her own tablet. "I have been studying Council species for 20 years. Every single one of them has a history of submission. When they faced a stronger enemy, they surrendered. When they encountered a crisis, they looked for someone else to solve it. They have forgotten how to be self-sufficient. Humans are different, Captain Doyen said. We evolved differently. We were never the strongest, never the fastest, never the biggest. We survived because we adapted, because we persisted, because when someone pushed us down, we got back up. And when someone threatens us, Jiwon continued, we do not just fight back. We make them regret the threat. We make them understand that leaving us alone was always the better choice. Admiral Minho's face grew larger on the screen again. Ambassador, you have the full support of the defense fleet, every ship, every weapon, every soldier. If they want war, we will give them war. But that is not what Earth wants. No, Jiwon agreed. War is expensive. War is wasteful. War means dead humans. We have a better way. She pulled up a document on the main screen. Everyone read it in silence. It was short, simple, but the implications were enormous. Strategic withdrawal, Lieutenant Taiyang read aloud. That is what we are calling it? That is what it is, Jiwon said. We are not running away. We are not surrendering. We are simply removing ourselves from the galactic community. Completely. Totally, we close our borders. We end all trade. We recall all our people. We stop sharing our technology. We become invisible. And we watch, Captain Doyen added with that dangerous smile. We watch as their medical systems fail, as their navigation breaks down, as their food production drops, as their energy networks struggle. We watch them realize how much they depended on us. That seems cruel, Dr. Hyerin said softly, but she was still smiling. They gave us an ultimatum, Jiwon replied. Submit or be destroyed. We are giving them a reality check. Thrive without us or come back to negotiate as equals. Commander Yoonji highlighted a section of the document. This part interests me most. We are establishing a quarantine zone around all human space. Any ship that enters will be destroyed. No warnings, no second chances. That will get their attention, Admiral Minho said. They will test it. They will send scouts. Let them, Captain Doyen said. We have new weapons they have never seen, weapons we kept secret. When their scouts disappear, they will start to worry. When their scouts disappear without any debris, without any evidence, they will start to panic. Jiwon stood. She looked at each person in the room. Tomorrow I will deliver Earth's response to the Council. I will be calm. I will be polite. I will explain our decision clearly, and I will watch their faces as they realize what they have done. They tried to make us submit, Lieutenant Taiyang said. Instead, they made us realize we never needed them in the first place. Exactly, Jiwon said. That is the message. That is the lesson. Humanity does not need permission to exist. We do not need approval to grow. We were being polite. We were being cooperative. They mistook that for weakness. Dr. Heron closed her tablet. In 50 years, we will be so far ahead technologically that they will not be able to catch up. Our isolation will make us stronger. Their dependence will make them weaker. And then, Admiral Minho said from the screen, we will return, not as supplicants, not as equals, as the dominant power. And we will set the terms. The meeting ended. The screen went dark. Each member of the delegation returned to their quarters to prepare. Tomorrow would change everything. Tomorrow the galaxy would learn what happened when you threatened humanity. Not violence, not war. Something far worse. Abandonment. Isolation. The removal of something they never knew they needed until it was gone. In her quarters, Jiwon reviewed her speech one more time. Every word was chosen carefully. Every phrase designed to convey strength without anger. When she was satisfied, she closed her eyes and slept. Tomorrow, the Council would face something they had never encountered before. A species that did not need them. A species that was willing to walk away. A species that understood the most powerful weapon was not a gun, but the ability to say no and make it stick. The Council chamber was full. Every representative had arrived early. Military advisors stood behind their leaders. Intelligence officers whispered into communication devices. The air felt electric with anticipation. They expected either submission or defiance. Either would be acceptable. Either could be managed. Ambassador Jiwon entered alone. Her footsteps echoed as she walked to the center platform. She carried only a small tablet. No papers, no advisors. Just her, standing in the middle of the chamber surrounded by 23 alien civilizations. High Chancellor Vexthor leaned forward. His insect eyes gleamed. Ambassador. Have you reached a decision? We have, Jiwan said. Her voice was calm, clear. She looked around the chamber, meeting eyes with each representative. I want to thank the Council for the ultimatum. It has been very educational. A few representatives shifted in their seats. That was not the response they expected. Gratitude? For an ultimatum? Educational how? Consul Mirnash asked carefully. It clarified our position in this galaxy, Jiwan replied. For years we believed we were partners in this council. We believed in cooperation, in mutual benefit, in shared progress. Your ultimatum taught us something important. You do not see us as partners. You see us as subordinates, as children who need to be controlled. This is unnecessary drama, Vexthor interrupted. Do you accept the terms or not? We reject all terms, Jiwan said simply. The chamber erupted. Representatives shouted. Some stood. Others gestured wildly. Fleet Marshal Crix, the Krillian military commander, stepped forward. Then you choose war. You cannot win. Our combined might will crush you. Jiwan waited. She let them shout. Let them threaten. When the noise finally died down, she spoke again. We are not choosing war. We are choosing something else entirely. A hologram appeared above her. It showed a document, large enough for everyone to read. The title was simple. Strategic Withdrawal. Effective immediately, Jiwan began. Humanity is severing all diplomatic relations with the Galactic Council. All trade agreements are cancelled. All technology exchange programs are terminated. All joint research projects are abandoned. All humans working in Council space will return home within 30 days. You are running away? Senator Lothran asked. The ancient Thexian sounded confused. Not running, Jiwan corrected. Withdrawing. There is a difference. Running implies fear. We are not afraid. We simply no longer see value in this relationship. A new image appeared. This one showed trade statistics. Minister Selgi's face appeared next to it. She was broadcasting from Earth. I am Minister Solgi, Earth's Minister of Colonial Affairs. Let me explain what this withdrawal means in practical terms. The statistics changed. Red lines appeared across the charts. 70% of Council shipping uses human navigation systems. These will stop working in 90 days when the licenses expire. 40% of Council medical facilities depend on human pharmaceutical research. No more updates. No more new medicines, more images, more statistics. Agricultural optimization across 17 Council worlds. Energy distribution networks for 12 species. Communication systems. Entertainment platforms. Infrastructure management. All designed by humans, all integrated into your daily lives, all going away. The chamber had gone quiet. Representatives were looking at the statistics. Some were already using their tablets, checking if the information was accurate. Their faces showed growing concern. This is blackmail, Fleet Marshal Crick said, but his voice was uncertain now. No, Jiwan replied. Blackmail would be threatening to withhold these things unless you meet our demands. We have no demands. We are simply leaving. You wanted us to submit or face war. We choose option 3. We choose to walk away. Commander Yunji appeared on the hologram next. For those interested in the details, we have uploaded complete documentation. Every human-designed system currently in use across Council space. Every dependency. Every integration point. You have 90 days to find alternatives. We suggest you start immediately. But let us discuss the military situation, Captain Doyen said. His image replaced Yunji's. He looked calm, professional, terrifying in his composure. You threatened us with your combined fleet. 50,000 capital ships. Very impressive. We have 3,000. The mathematics seemed simple to you. He touched something off-screen. The hologram changed to show a map of the galaxy. Human space was marked in blue. Council space in various other colors. However, there is a problem with your mathematics. You have never fought as one unified force. You have different command structures, different communication systems, different tactical doctrines. Many of you still have old grudges against each other. A red line appeared around human space. This is the quarantine zone. As of this moment, it is active. Any ship that enters human space will be destroyed. No warnings, no negotiations, no mercy. You cannot enforce that, Admiral Velkoth said. He was another Krillian military officer. Your fleet is too small to guard all your borders. Test it, Captain Doyen said simply. Send scouts. Send spies. Send your best stealth ships. See what happens. We have developed new weapons. Technologies we kept secret while we were being friendly neighbors. You will not see them coming. You will not understand how they work. Your ships will simply cease to exist. Consul Mirnash spoke softly. This seems extreme. Surely we can negotiate. You gave us an ultimatum, Jiwan reminded them. You said the terms were final. Not negotiable. You told us to submit or face destruction. We are following your example. These are our terms. They are final. They are not negotiable. The hologram changed again. This time it showed a calendar. In 50 years we will consider reopening diplomatic relations. Not before. During that time, humanity will focus on internal development. We will advance our technology. We will strengthen our infrastructure. We will grow our population. We will do all of this without you. Dr. Hieron's face appeared. Meanwhile, the Council will discover what happens when you lose access to human innovation. You will try to replicate our systems. You will fail. Not because you are not intelligent, but because you have become dependent. You have forgotten how to solve problems for yourselves. In 50 years, Jiwan continued, we will return. We will see how you managed without us. And then, honored council members, we will discuss terms. Our terms. You will listen. Because by then, you will understand what you lost. You will understand what you threw away when you tried to control us. She stepped forward. Her voice grew harder. You see, you made a critical error. You assumed we needed you. You assumed we depended on this council for survival. You assumed wrong. We joined this council by choice. We cooperated by choice. We shared our technology by choice. And now by choice we are leaving. The humans who work on your worlds, who teach in your universities, who staff your hospitals, who maintain your systems, they are all coming home. The trade ships that carry human goods, they are not coming back. The research partnerships that develop new medicines and technologies, they are ending. Everything you took for granted, everything you assumed would always be there, gone. The chamber was silent now. The implications were sinking in. This was not a declaration of war. It was worse. War they could fight, war they understood. But this economic collapse? Technological stagnation? Watching humanity grow stronger while they struggled? This was a nightmare. Senator Lothran stood slowly. The ancient Thexian looked at Jiwan with something like respect. You are teaching us a lesson. We are showing you reality, Jiwan replied. You wanted to force us to submit. Instead, you forced us to realize we never needed you in the first place. That is the lesson. That is what happens when you threaten a species that survived by being self-sufficient. We will destroy you, Fleet Marshal Crick said, but even he did not sound convinced anymore. You can try, Captain Doyen said from the hologram. Send your fleets. Test our quarantine zone, but remember this. Every ship you lose is a ship you cannot replace. Every soldier who dies is gone forever. Meanwhile, we will be safe behind our borders, growing, learning, advancing. And when you finally realize you cannot win, when you finally understand what you have lost, we will still be here, waiting, watching, thriving. Jiwan bowed slightly, a gesture of respect even now. The human delegation is departing. Do not attempt to contact us. Do not send ambassadors. Do not try to negotiate. In 50 years, if your civilizations still exist, we will return. Until then, you are on your own. Good luck. You will need it. She turned and walked toward the exit. The chamber remained silent. No one tried to stop her. No one knew what to say. They had tried to control humanity. Instead, they had freed humanity from any obligation to help them. The predator was leaving the gathering, and the prey was beginning to understand just how much protection that predator had been providing. The massive chamber floated in orbit around Talon Prime. Inside, representatives from 23 alien species sat in circular rows. Their seats rose higher and higher, forming a giant bowl. At the bottom, in the center, 5 humans sat alone. The lights above made their small group look even smaller. Ambassador Jiwan sat perfectly still. Her dark suit was simple compared to the colorful robes and armor around her. Next to her, Captain Doyen leaned back in his chair. His military uniform was plain gray. Dr. Hieron typed notes on her tablet. The 2 other humans stayed quiet. High Chancellor Vexthor stood at the highest point. His insect-like body clicked and buzzed as he moved. His voice came through the translation devices everyone wore. It sounded harsh and angry. Humans of Earth, Vexthor began. The Galactic Council has made a decision. Your species has expanded too far. You have built weapons that threaten peace. You have ignored our warnings. This cannot continue. Ji-Won wrote something down. She did not look up. This seemed to annoy Vexthor even more. We demand the following. The High Chancellor continued. First, you will surrender control of all colonies in disputed zones. Second, you will allow Council inspectors into all your military facilities. Third, you will stop building new warships immediately. Fourth, you will pay compensation to species affected by your expansion. You have 72 hours to accept these terms. Around the chamber, other representatives nodded. Some made sounds of agreement. A large creature with purple skin and 6 arms gestured wildly. Another species, floating in a tank of water, flashed colors on its transparent body. They all seemed to agree with Vexthor. Consul Mirnash spoke next. The aquatic being's voice was softer but still firm. Water droplets fell from the speaking device attached to the tank. The Council wishes to be clear. If you refuse, we will have no choice. 23 civilizations will act together. Our combined fleets number over 50,000 capital ships. Humanity has perhaps 3,000. The mathematics are simple. Captain Doyen smiled slightly. It was a small movement, barely noticeable. But Mirnash saw it. The consul felt something cold move through the water of the tank. That smile did not match the situation. A species facing destruction should not smile. Other council members began speaking. They listed complaints. Humans were too aggressive, too quick to use weapons, too stubborn. They built colonies too fast. They asked too many questions. They did not follow traditions. They treated other species as equals instead of respecting the ancient civilizations. A tall creature with crystal skin spoke. Humans are children playing with fire. They have been in space for only 200 years. The Thexian civilization is 40,000 years old, yet humans act as if they know better than everyone. Through it all, Ji-Won kept writing notes. She showed no emotion. Her face was calm. When the accusations stopped, she looked up. Her eyes moved slowly across the chamber, meeting the gaze of each representative. Some looked away. Others stared back with anger or contempt. May I speak? Ji-Won asked. Her voice was quiet, but everyone heard it clearly. Vexthor made a clicking sound. You may respond to the charges. Ji-Won stood slowly. She was shorter than most beings in the room. I will not respond to charges, she said. Charges imply we have committed crimes. We have not. We have followed every treaty we signed. We have respected all established borders. We have traded fairly. We have shared our technology. What you call aggression, we call self-defense. What you call expansion, we call growth. Your opinion does not change the Council's decision, Vexthor said. His voice was sharp. I understand, Ji-Won replied. However, I must consult with my government. The terms you present are significant. I request 48 hours to discuss this with Earth's leadership. The Council members looked at each other. They seemed surprised. They expected immediate rejection or anger. Instead, the human ambassador was calm and professional. This made some of them uncomfortable. Mirnash spoke quietly to Vexthor. They discussed something in low tones. Finally, the High Chancellor nodded. Very well. You have 48 hours. But understand this is not a negotiation. These terms are final. Accept or face the consequences. Understood, Ji-Won said. She bowed slightly, a gesture of respect. Then she turned to leave. The other 4 humans stood and followed her. Captain Doyen was last. As he walked toward the exit, that small smile returned to his face. The heavy doors closed behind the human delegation. Immediately, the chamber erupted in conversation. Representatives congratulated each other. They had done it. The humans would surely accept. What choice did they have? Fight the entire galaxy? Impossible. Only Mirnash remained quiet. The consul watched the doors where the humans had left. Something felt wrong. That smile from the human captain, the ambassador's complete calm, they should have been worried. They should have shown fear or anger. Instead, they showed nothing. You seem troubled, Senator Lothran said. The ancient Thexian moved next to Mirnash's tank. The crystalline being's voice resonated like music. Did you see how they reacted? Mirnash asked. They were calm, respectful. They will accept the terms. That is what concerns me, Mirnash said. I have studied humans for decades. They are emotional creatures. They should have shouted. They should have threatened. They should have shown something. But they showed nothing. Like they were expecting this. Like they had already planned their response. Lothran made a sound like wind chimes. It was the Thexian version of laughter. You worry too much, old friend. They are outnumbered 23-1. They have no allies. They will accept because they must. But Mirnash continued to stare at the doors. In all the years of studying humanity, one thing had become clear. Humans were dangerous when angry, but they were far more dangerous when calm. When a human stopped showing emotion, it meant they had already decided what to do. It meant they were already moving their pieces on the board. Outside the chamber, the 5 humans walked through the corridor in silence. Their footsteps echoed on the metal floor. They reached their shuttle and climbed inside. Only when the doors sealed and they were alone did anyone speak. Well, Dr. Hyeron said, that went exactly as we predicted. Ji-Won nodded. She pulled out her communication device. Get me the Prime Minister. Tell her it is time. They took the bait. We can proceed with the plan. Captain Doyen looked out the window at the council station. They have no idea what is coming. Should they? Ji-Won asked. Doyen shook his head. No, this will be more effective if it is a complete surprise. They think they hold all the power. They think we need them. Let them keep thinking that for another 48 hours. The shuttle pulled away from the station. Behind them, the council celebrated their victory. Ahead of them, Earth prepared its response. Not with weapons, not with threats, with something far more terrifying, with mathematics, with economics, with the cold reality of what happened when you tried to control a species that never asked for permission to exist in the first place. 6 months had passed. The council chamber looked empty now. Many representatives attended via hologram to save resources. Travel was expensive without human navigation systems. Some species had stopped sending representatives entirely. They were too busy managing crises at home. High Chancellor Vexthor looked older, thinner. His movements were slower. The human medical treatments he relied on were failing. Other Krillians were suffering worse. Death rates had increased 35% across his species. Hospitals were overwhelmed. Nothing they tried worked as well as the human technology. We must discuss the current situation, Vexthor said. His voice lacked its former authority. Economic Minister Pelthar, your report. The Vrel's tank was cloudier than ever. Pelthar had aged badly in 6 months. Stress was killing the Economic Minister slowly. The situation continues to deteriorate. 14 council species now face critical infrastructure collapse. Food production is down 20% across agricultural worlds. Energy distribution is failing in multiple systems. Trade has slowed to 60% of previous levels. The Thexian data network has degraded 40%, exactly as predicted, Senator Lothran added. The ancient crystalline being's voice resonated with sadness. Communication across our civilization is becoming difficult. Commerce is suffering. Our government struggles to coordinate between worlds. We are regressing technologically. What about replication efforts? Consul Mirnash asked. We have been trying to rebuild human systems for 6 months. What progress? Chief Engineer Noxlon's cybernetic form activated. Minimal progress. We have successfully replicated the simplest systems at perhaps 40% efficiency. Complex systems remain beyond our current capabilities. The humans use principles we are only beginning to understand. It will take years, possibly decades, to match their technology. Meanwhile, they continue to advance. Have we attempted diplomatic outreach again? Someone asked. Multiple times, Mirnash replied. We sent messages requesting humanitarian assistance, medical supplies, technical support, anything. Every message was ignored. No responses. No acknowledgement. Complete silence. A transmission request appeared. The officer looked surprised. We have an incoming message from human space. It is Representative Jungi. Hope flickered across the chamber. Finally, contact. Finally, a chance to negotiate. The screen activated. Representative Jungi appeared. His face was emotionless. His uniform was pristine. Behind him, through the window, massive structures were visible. Construction on a scale the Council had never seen. Galactic Council, Jungi began. His voice was cold, formal. Earth has received your requests for humanitarian assistance. Our government has reviewed these requests carefully. After consideration, we must decline. But people are dying, Vexthor protested. Surely you can spare medical supplies, treatment protocols, anything. Humanity warned you, Jungi replied. We explained the consequences of your ultimatum. You chose to test our resolve. We are not rescuing you from your own decisions. You demanded we submit, we refused. You threatened war. We withdrew. Now you face the results. This is not cruelty. This is simply cause and effect. We made a mistake, Mirnash said quietly. We admit this. We were wrong to threaten you. Can we not move past this? In 46.5 years we will consider resuming contact, Jungi said. Not before. Humanity is focused on internal development. We are not interested in your problems. Solve them yourselves. Learn self-sufficiency, or do not. That is your choice. This transmission is concluded. The screen went dark. No opportunity for response. No room for pleading. Just cold dismissal. Another transmission arrived moments later. This one was from Dr. Hana, broadcasting on public human channels. The Council's intelligence service had intercepted it. She was speaking to Earth's population about recent medical breakthroughs. Our research teams have made remarkable progress, Dr. Hana explained. Her laboratory was visible behind her, equipment that looked decades beyond anything the Council possessed. Without the obligation to share our findings with Council species, we have accelerated development significantly. Diseases that plagued us for generations now have treatments. Life expectancy has increased by 8 years in just 6 months. Some may ask why we do not share these breakthroughs with the galaxy. The answer is simple. The Council chose to threaten us rather than respect us. They chose dominance over partnership. Now they face the consequences. We are advancing faster alone than we ever did while supporting civilizations that viewed us as subordinates. In the coming years, the gap will widen, while the Council struggles to replicate technology they took for granted. We will develop new innovations they cannot imagine. While they debate and argue and compete, we will cooperate and grow. Their ultimatum freed us from the burden of carrying them. For that, perhaps we should thank them. The transmission ended. The Council chamber was silent. The human doctor was correct. They had freed humanity, removed all obligation, given them permission to stop helping, and humanity had taken that permission and run with it. Military update, Admiral Velkoth said. He appeared via hologram from his flagship. He looked exhausted. We have stopped probing the quarantine zone. Every attempt results in destroyed vessels. Total losses now number 32 ships. We have learned nothing about their defensive systems. They remain completely impenetrable. Long-range scans show massive expansion within human space. They have constructed at least 40 new shipyards. Population growth exceeds all projections. New colonies established on worlds we did not know they were surveying. Their fleet has grown to over 5,000 capital ships in 6 months. How? Fleet Marshal Crix demanded. How can they build so fast? Because they are not wasting resources supporting us, Noxalon said flatly. Every ounce of material, every hour of labor, every innovation goes toward their own development. They are not divided by politics or old rivalries. They are unified by our threat. We did this. We made them focus. We gave them a common purpose. Senator Lothran resonated a mournful tone. We are watching the emergence of the galaxy's dominant power, and we are the ones who pushed them to become it. If we had treated them as equals, they would have remained cooperative partners. Now they will become our masters. Perhaps not masters, Consul Mirnash said. Humans do not seem interested in conquest. They want isolation, self-sufficiency. But you are correct about one thing. When they finally return, they will not be asking for our approval. They will be telling us how things will be. Economic reports continued to arrive, each one worse than the last. 3 minor council species had suffered complete economic collapse. Their governments had fallen. Civil unrest spread. Without human technology to maintain their infrastructure, their civilizations were regressing. We must prepare for a long decline, Pelthar said. Barring a miracle, the Council will be significantly weaker in 46 years. Fewer member species, lower population, less advanced technology. Meanwhile, humanity will be stronger, richer, more advanced. They are not just surviving our absence. They are thriving. Is there any way to change this outcome? Vexthor asked. He sounded desperate now. We could attack, Crick suggested. Strike before they grow stronger. Our combined fleet still outnumbers theirs. And lose, Velkoth said bluntly. We cannot even penetrate their border defenses. How would we attack their core systems? They have weapons we do not understand, technology we cannot counter. An attack would result in the destruction of our fleet and give them justification to retaliate. No, military action is not an option. Then we wait, Mirnash said. We survive as best we can. We work to rebuild our own capabilities, and in 46 years, when humanity returns, we hope they are merciful. Hope for mercy from those we threatened with destruction, Senator Lothran observed. How far we have fallen. The chamber slowly emptied. Representatives returned to their ships, their worlds, their struggling civilizations. Each carried the same burden. They had tried to control humanity. Instead, they had unleashed something far more dangerous. Not a military threat, not an aggressive conqueror, something worse. They had created a civilization that no longer needed them. A civilization that was perfectly content to watch them struggle while it grew stronger. A civilization that had mastered the most devastating form of warfare. Not violence, not conquest. Simple, cold indifference. Consul Mirnash remained in the empty chamber, floating alone in the darkness. The elderly Vrel thought about the first time humanity had arrived at the council. They had been so eager, so hopeful, so willing to cooperate. The galaxy had seemed brighter with them in it, now that brightness was gone, hidden behind walls of force and silence. And it was the council's own fault. They had demanded submission. Humanity had offered something far more terrifying: independence. Absolute, total, self-sufficient independence. In 46 years, humanity would return. But they would return as strangers, as a power that had grown beyond the Council's ability to influence or control. They would return with terms, with demands, with the strength to enforce their will, and the Council would have no choice but to accept. Because in trying to make humanity submit, they had instead taught humanity that submission was never necessary, that walking away was always an option.